guys, it's Angelo, and today is Friday, and therefore time for another Ask Angelo Q&A, where you get to ask questions and I answer them. I've been getting lots of interesting questions this week as well as the other weeks, and I'm always happy to answer those, of course, and in what better way than making a video. Now, I tried answering questions that were either asked by multiple people or very interesting, important questions that we should discuss. If you too have a question you'd like answered, feel free to write them in the comments or under any video you watch and have a question about, as I check all of them weekly and pick out some accordingly. You can also join the Discord and ask away in the Ask Angelo thread yourself. Good, now that being said, and without any further ado, let's go right ahead and have a look. Our first question of this week comes from Sebastian, asking, what setup are you using in terms of hardware and software for video editing? And I think that's a good question, especially for somebody who is interested in video editing itself. I'll display my setup on screen now. This is obviously not your everyday setup, but as I do a lot of work on my computer and want to ensure the best possible video quality for you guys, I decided to put together a good setup. When it comes to software, I use Adobe Premiere Pro for editing and post-production stuff, Adobe After Effects for any special effects you see, like the transitions, the blurry effects and stuff, and thumbnails I create using Photoshop. I record my audio with Audacity, and it's pretty much responsible for everything related to the audio, so noise reductions and sound cleanings as well. Personally, I've been working with the Adobe products for a very long time, and here in Germany, that is usually the product line you learn with when going to school to become a graphic designer, or for example when working as one. I've tried using Sony Vegas as well, but it's just something that boils down to preference really, same with programs like Final Cut, Filmora, and all of the others. Let me know what you think. Any video editors watching this video, be sure to let us know about your personal programs and tips to share. Our next question comes from Rasmus Newmark Hollander, and he asks, what add-on do you use to track the boss and the big minions? If ElfUI, do you know some other add-ons out there doing the same thing? Because I don't like the whole ElfUI thing. Good question, Rasmus, and yes, I am using ElfUI for this, but there are many unit frame add-ons out there. I think the most popular one apart from ElfUI would be Shadowed Unit Frames, which is great and looks very good, and you may want to check that out, but again, there's tons more out there. Now Say asks what the White Circle add-on is. And once more, I've gotten this question at least 8 times I think, and I'll gladly link the cursor weakaura in the description box below for you to use. It helps me out a lot when multi-dotting, as I can easily mouse over my targets and dot them without losing view of my cursor. This is of course very important for hectic cleave fights, where you'll need to be spreading your dots constantly and refresh them on targets as well. I've talked about this before, but this is probably single-handedly the most useful weakaura I'm using or have ever used, and I've been using it for about 4 years at this point, and I think that does say a lot. Cotton says, love your videos, is your UI for sharing by chance? And yes, my UI is for sharing of course. I'll leave a link to my latest interface video in the description box with all of the information and all of the links to my interface as well, but I've been seeing a lot of questions about my interface lately, so I'm pretty sure I'll be making an interface update video next week. Let me know if you'd like to see that though. The final question of this week comes from Bizza, who asks, hey Angelo, what do you think about the class balance changes? For reference, he's talking about the balance changes of this week, which went live on EU servers on February 26th and February 25th on North American servers. They'll appear on screen now, and personally, I kind of feel as if the point has been missed with these buffs. All specs that have been buffed have very deep playstyle flaws in my opinion, which is why they're underperforming. Marksmanship Hunters, for example, will not be fixed by a measly 5% buff, and the same goes for Windwalker Monks. The Restoration Druid are the most plausible buffs in my opinion, as that will definitely make the Restoration Druid more competitive in a raid environment. Now please keep in mind that these are just my opinions, so if any developer is watching this, please don't take anything away from this. There are people way more competent when it comes to theory crafting and class development than I am. Alright my friends, that'll conclude this week's Ask Angelo. If your question hasn't been answered, don't worry, I'll most likely get to it in the upcoming week, but if you have any further questions, ask away in the comments of this video or any video you watch, or on our Discord server with the link in the description box below. Special thanks as always to my supporters over on Discord and on Patreon, and I hope you're all having fun so far in patch 8.3. Next week, we'll be looking at the Disc Priest again, but an updated interface video is very likely as well. Now, as always, have a good one my friends, enjoy your weekend, and I will see you all in the next one.